to the K.
To the K.
To the K. CM Punk's first WWE feud revealed.
MJF blows out his hip and his shoulder.
Well, shouldn't be flexing like that then. Should
Hey.
Young Bucks taking a long-term hiatus from AEW.
Ronda Rousey made a shock debut at Ring of Honor a few weeks back.
Yeah, we've had this one of those for a while.
It's
What does it all mean?
It's talking points. What does it all mean, Basil?
QT Marshall resigns from AEW.
Interesting. Well, WWE shareholders are going to sue Vince McMahon, probably.
He's not all rosy over there either, is it? Anthony, when's all this coming up?
Right freaking now.
Yes, it is.
Bit too enthusiastic, that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's all a Pepsi.
So Hell froze over.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Punk is back.
Back again.
Punk is back.
Is that a friend?
Yeah. Maybe he's gonna suck a blood-covered Saudi dick. No, because he's back.
I mean, he probably will go to Saudi if we're honest.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of fucking money. So anyone who saw Raw, basically, it's brilliant. His promo was like, "I'm back for the fans." And then as soon as like it was going off the air, he went, "I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money." And it's like, well, so that was
what
the
are you
truth.
back for?
That was the truth. But
I mean, let's be honest. I think if one thing CM Punk's learned from trying to be an AEW is that as much as he always didn't really believe this in himself, he's a WWE guy.
yeah, he is. I think.
Like, if you think of most of his issue, is that, oh, they're all unprofessional, this and that. They should follow things. They should show the respect. And he's basically acting like Kevin Nash at this point, right? He's a company guy, and he's always classed himself like when he sort of pissed off like 9 years ago and was all angry at the company. He's like, I was never seen as right. I was seen as an indie darling, and I would never fit the mold and so on like that. He did. He's fit the mold. He is the mold. You know what I mean? He's a WWE guy.
He's a moldy motherfucker.
He's come back to where it works.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's a great thing because I think WWE is where he's better served. He obviously didn't like the semi-indie approach that AEW had.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
It's an interesting one. I think when he went to AEW, he was very much like, I can give back to the industry again. I can help these young up-and-comers. And, you know, those people...
The young up-and-comers were like, fuck you!
And then I'm going to choke you! And then people can't talk about that. But, yeah, it's a massively mental turn-up for the Bucks, isn't it? I don't think anyone... It wasn't on anyone's bingo card, was it? Punk coming back to WWE.
No.
Having a little pointy picture with Triple H. Don't think anyone...
Living colour, I just following that fuck around. Yeah. Here we go now. Look in my eyes.
Well, yeah, so according to PW Insider, some stats around this return, they've apparently signed him for several years.
I see.
Wonder how long that he'll serve before he chokes a guy.
That's the thing. How long is a contract, really?
I mean, you could say that about WWE, to be fair. Signed him for 10 years. By the way, best luck with your future endeavors next week.
90 days. 90 days.
Independent contractors. So, kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But he's back, and he's there supposedly for the long term. He said on Raw, you know, he's home, and all that good stuff. But I don't know where he fits in.
This is the problem. I think, well, I know where he fits in, right? And this is going to be a very polarizing while. Like, this is probably going to be the biggest challenge Triple H has got. Because the bottom line for Punk is he fits in at the top of the company. Mm-hmm. What they should do now with Punk, right? Because let's face it, they've missed the boat with Cody. They'll have to build that back up. What they should do now with Punk is build him towards the main event of Mania. I mean, I think it should be Seth. But I'm not really asked which. What they should do is give him the main event that he's always fucking moaned about.
Yeah,
that's him finishing his story, if you will, right? Because I'm not saying they can never achieve it with Cody, but the kind of heat's gone off that. So you capitalize on people who are like, oh shit, he's back, and you build the momentum. He's clearly got a feud ready with Seth. And Cody's busy with Shinsuke anyway. It's fine.
What's the Batman quote? You see yourself become the villain or whatever.
It was it.
Two middle-aged men tried to...
something about living long enough to become the villain.
But that's basically what's happened. He was all angsty. He was like, I'm not getting what I deserve. I'm not in the main event of WrestleMania. You've got people like John and Rock going off and doing movie.
Either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's what he's done.
Yeah, he's a villain now.
Yeah, so basically everything he hated, he's now become. Let's be honest.
He's the New York Yankee.
He went away. Came back, got a big fat contract, and then now, let's be honest, they've signed him for several years. They probably signed him on one of those mega deals. He's probably going to get a main event at Mania, and that's what he's had to go and do, isn't it? So you can see why Seth Rollins calls him a hypocrite, because
I mean,
he ain't wrong.
I think this is utmost credit to Seth, because people are so like, oh, he seemed really mad. So like, it's clearly a work. Right, I don't think that the feelings aren't there.
Well, Bubba Ray thinks it's 1,000% true.
But the thing is, some of the best works come from truth, and I feel like Seth probably isn't big. Yeah,
he's back now.
He's back as well. Yeah. No, but Seth, I think, was quite. I don't think it was a work way back when he was saying he's a cancer, stay away from the business.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't like Punk, but I also think he's a company guy, as is Punk, and I think they both know that'll make money.
Yeah.
So the whole thing reacted. Knowing Punk was coming out, he saw, I'll overreact because people have already seen me on social media.
Yeah. WWE have gone...
He knows what he's doing.
They've gone dead meta now because everybody is a fucking, and knows what a work is and, knows what a shoot is and all that. So WWE are quite smart and have gone, well, what we'll do is we'll record, get fan videos of, Seth losing his shit after the match and Drew McIntyre storming out after the match, and then that'll generate news stories.
Yeah.
And it works because people are, losing their minds, and then Drew McIntyre comes out and it's like... When you start playing with reality like that, eventually everyone will start going, it's all fake. That's what WWE do, and then they're gonna have to start murdering people. How far are we gonna take this shit? Only logical next step. But so it's a fascinating one, but all signs indicate that it will be CM Punk and Seth. So I think all this stuff around losing his shit, and he's so angry he's back and all that. Basically, Seth had Cody when he came over. Now he's got Punk when he comes over.
Seth works with people. Seth is such a company guy, and he's been so honest about that and said the WWE gave him everything he wanted. He's looked after him and his family. It's given him the lifestyle he wants. He backs WWE 100%. And you can see that because they go, we're bringing Logan Paul in, make him look good.
Yeah.
We're bringing other people whose name escapes me. Do you know what I mean? But it's he always has to, he worked with Dom. He made Dom look great before Dom was even credible in the ring.
Yeah, definitely.
But if Dom's only just getting into a stride now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you think back to the Cody thing, he's been very vocal, Seth, and being like, I can't stand Cody. We don't get along. And they still don't get along now. And you can kind of understand why when he's the world champ and it's Team Cody at Survivor Series.
To be honest,
and it's
this is where I think I don't think Cody's self-aware enough to understand why people end up not liking him. But the fact that we got to Raw and Cody had to say something about CM Punk is exactly why people end up not liking him. Because it's got fuck all to do with you.
Yeah.
Right? Just don't worry about it.
He's got to attach himself to anything.
Don't worry about it.
Hasn't he?
You do your shit with Shinsuke. Don't worry about the CM Punk thing. He's going to come out and speak anyway. I think that's why people end up going off the boil on him.
Yeah. No, definitely. But I think it seems to be going that way. So someone, I think it was Kermit, I think he's called, a guy on Reddit who's pretty accurate in terms of news. He's saying that it's pretty much confirmed it'll be Seth versus Punk at Royal Rumble, not Mania.
Okay, interesting.
So that does make me think, though, they're not gonna do it, are they? They're not gonna take the title off Seth before WrestleMania. Put it on Punk and put him in with someone else.
I mean,
wouldn't be the first time. They've done it to Owens. They did it to Bray.
The thing is, this is where Triple H is going to have a tough one to navigate because he's got so many people who the fans believe should be at the top that it's going to be near enough impossible to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
And people have been so Triple H, the era of Triple H, this is great because he keeps bringing people back. And it's all right, now all the marbles are back, probably. I don't know, he might bring some more. Now everyone's back, right? What are you going to do? So we're going to have Seth versus Punk. Maybe a title change, maybe not. Then Damian still needs to cash in.
Yeah.
Then people are really behind LA Knight. People want The Rock to come back. People want John Cena to come back. People want Cody to finish the story. People still love AJ Styles. People still love Finn Balor. What Drew McIntyre is another one I didn't fucking mention who really should be, they're building something there. Yeah. So what are we gonna fucking do?
You made a before we even went on air, you were reeling off a list of who everybody wants and thinks is main event talent. And we got to like 15, 20 names, didn't we? And it's like, it's mental. Like, you can't possibly have LA Knight at the top of the card and, have...
Well, I'll ask you this, right? I know that you're a massive Drew McIntyre fan, and we both agree Drew McIntyre is main event level, right? Do you think right now, based on who's here, he should be the one in the main event at Mania?
I mean, should he be? Maybe, but is he going to be? Absolutely fucking not.
Because this is where people need to be realistic, and I think this is where like fans can be fickle as fuck anyway. Speaking as fans, we know, right? But fans can be fickle as fuck anyway, and this is where it's going to be really difficult for Triple H because you can happily be a realist and go, he's probably not going to be in the main event at Mania, but everyone will have their guy. There'll still be people who will be shouting for LA Knight to be in the main event at Mania.
Yeah.
Won't fucking happen.
No. The whole thing is a bit of a mess, really. But...
And honestly, Damien's going to have to cash in fucking soon.
Well, I wonder if...
That's coming up, surely.
Maybe Damien cashes in during their match at the Rumble, which is why it happens at the Rumble, gets the title off Seth. And then we get Punk versus Rollins 1-on-1 without the title at some point or something. I don't really know. But
if, so let's say that happened, who would you put Damien against then?
Well, exactly. Do you do Damien and Drew? But Drew's now a heel, so that doesn't make sense.
Like Damien and Punk, which I mean could work, but there's no real reason.
Where
for
does Randy Orton fit into the mix? Is he still got a vendetta with Bloodline? Yeah, like he's got something going with seeing with Rhea Ripley on Raw. It's brilliant. It's like everyone's been going, "Mommy, Mommy," and he's like, "Well, Daddy's back." Like fucking love Randy. But yeah, it's mad. It's fantastic in a way because
it's a
the
great
level of
to
talent they've got.
I think it's just like whether people start souring because my guy didn't get what you know. What I mean? It's almost like it's the too many things, too many options that you're not going to make anyone happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And as well, like don't come at me, people. But if you think back to the Attitude Era, like you had Austin and Rock and Triple H and Undertaker and Kane. And I'm not going to say Shawn Michaels because he was a cunt and he was never there anyway. But
yeah, back problems, man. Yeah, back problems.
Of course he did. Found a smile eventually, didn't he? But you had all those guys, and they could all coexist. Kurt Angle came in, it was natural into that as well.
Do you not think though there was this is probably the difference though, because like right now these are all like people who everyone's like they should be in the main event right now, whereas in the Attitude Era it kind of naturally evolved.
Yeah.
Like you started with Austin, didn't you? And then The Rock came up with the Nation of Domination. Kurt Angle was fairly fresh and he came up and learned his craft. And then he was sort of like late Attitude, early Reality Era. Do you know what I mean? And they all kind of like, they didn't all compete exactly at the same time. Obviously, sometimes with each other. Like, Rock and Austin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, it weren't like a constant, like, here's so many people at the top. It kind of naturally evolved. Whereas right now, it just feels like you've got like fucking 10 people who all need to be in the mix. We're going to have a rumble of just people who should get the fucking title.
To be fair, the rumble's going to be fucking epic, isn't it? It's going to be a rumble of main event level.
Well, this is the thing. But do you get to a point of doing that? Do we just put the title on the line at the rumble match? I mean, just say, fuck it.
There's still Brock to come back, let's be honest. Yeah. Brock will be back at the rumble probably. Yeah. Cena probably not
Brock,
done.
Cena, Rock, all back at the rumble.
Imagine if,
fucking Austin again. Fucking why not?
Well, yeah. Right? You don't never know.
And you could have a main event rumble just for the belt.
I mean, it is WrestleMania 40 coming up.
Imagine a scenario where they go, you know what? No one's stopping Roman. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna have everyone fucking try. It's Roman versus 30 fuckers, right? And Roman has to try and win the rumble again.
Yeah. I mean,
fuck it.
Why not? That could be the best way to get the fucking belt off him. To be fair.
Yeah, and then everyone gets a shot. And then you just build something after that,
Yeah. Who knows? But,
hear me, Triple H.
Sorry. It's mad to think a couple of months ago, if we would have said, like, WrestleMania 40 is coming up, we would have done a dream card. I think we even did it early WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, we were fucking wrong.
We didn't have Punk in there. Didn't have fucking... did we have Cena coming back? I think we did have The Rock in there, actually.
May have put The Rock
Austin,
in there.
All this kind of...
I mean, no one even mentioned JD McDonough, but obviously the fans are
fucking love JD. Definitely don't come at JD because they will come at you. But yeah, Punk's back. It looks like we're heading towards Punk versus Rollins at the Rumble.
Yes, we are.
And who knows where it goes from there? So exciting times all around.
It's crazy times all around. Crazy times. You know what else is crazy? While WWE seems to be having an absolute tear, probably not the right words to use when I'm going on to this article, but whatever. AEW seems to be having a bit of a shocker. Obviously, we had the upsetting news that CM Punk wasn't the devil. Well, kind of is the devil, but not in the way we thought. I kid him. But obviously, the devil storyline is a good one and should pan out nicely. And to be honest, it should be Adam Cole, right? But everyone was hoping Punk. So now nothing's going to live up to that. So they kind of had a shocker in that sense. We're getting plagued with injuries left and right with the likes of Adam Cole and so on. We've had QC Marshall now leaving. But we've got MJF suffering both a bad shoulder and a bad hip at the same time.
Yeah.
Not long after dating Alicia Tooth, interestingly.
Yeah, purely coincidental.
Purely coincidental. So it seems like the main concern with this really was he put up a tweet. He mentioned about, I think it was actually mentioned on air about his hip. He was walking with a cane grip.
Well, hips don't lie. Shakira told us that.
That is true. But then he put a tweet out about having an MRI scan and that shoulder, he'd torn whatever that muscle is. And he put in the tweet that he will still compete against Samoa Joe at World's End. And the concern for everyone is that he's actually now deleted that tweet. And it's like, has he had to delete that tweet because he can't keep to that promise? Now, nothing's been said to that effect.
Yeah.
But the concern for everyone is like, is he not going to be able to compete at World's End, which is that film that Simon Pegg was in, if you remember. And it's a real shame because he's probably there, like, all due respect to the absolute massive roster of talent that they've got there, but he's their main draw at the minute.
Yeah.
This is the hottest storyline they've got at the minute because they haven't really built a lot of stories.
No. There's this and the whole Copeland Christian thing. They're the main, and the Continental Classic, right? But the thing is, MJF deletes a lot of tweets, so
he does.
You never know. But I wonder whether or not it's more to cover their ass to say, like, people will come at us if they know you're competing injured. If you want to do it, then you can, but don't be fucking telling everyone that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if he's had a tear,
I mean, it'd be interesting if he can beat Samoa Joe with one arm tied behind his back. He does.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a stipulation. Maybe they play into it. It's like, oh, you can have your rematch, but because my arm's fucked, you have to have one.
And I for one, I'll be gutted if it doesn't happen because Samoa Joe is an absolute fucking menace.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love Samoa Joe in AEW.
I definitely don't want him to defeat MJF though. Imagine if there's
I love who he is in AEW.
He's good. But imagine if, because of this injury, it's like, well, we have to take the belt off you and it's Samoa Joe. Like, no offense, but Jesus, could you imagine?
I mean, they make some wild choices with belts in AEW.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's just drop the belt to Hikaru Shida for Saraya for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That was weird. Based on Dynamite this past week, by the way, have you got any further speculation on the Devil? Because he did the worst little geekiest laugh we've ever seen. And I immediately thought it's Jack Perry.
If it's Jack Perry, and I mean this sincerely, if it's Jack Perry, I'm quitting. I'm not watching AEW ever again. I swear to God. If that's the result, that it's Jack fucking Perry, I'm done. I'll only watch WWE going forward. Fuck that.
Yeah. I just a side note as well, because talking about Jack Perry has made me laugh. I can't remember who it was, because, we're great at what we do. But someone on our Instagram did imagine now's the time to get CM Punk back on Stone Cold's Broken Skull thing, and they put what Austin would have said, and obviously you read it in Austin's voice, and it's like, so Luke Perry's kid, shooting on you, London, Wembley, 80,000 people, choke him out. Pick it up from there. You can just imagine it. Exactly.
Do you know what's awesome? Like, when you think about CM Punk's played this so well, hasn't he? Their biggest pay-per-view they've done with All In, and the tickets they've sold, and Punk was there for it. Then he's like, I'm going to fuck off to WWE now as well.
Apparently he's the hottest merch seller in both companies now.
Yeah.
So he's just making fucking bank from every company.
Controversy creates cash, as we know, Carl. Yeah. Just ask JD McDonough in your video.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully speedy recovery for MJF. I'm sure Alicia Toot will help him on that road to recovery. If she didn't cause it.
My hip.
So speaking of people we're not going to be seeing for a while, the Young Bucks. So they got all antsy, didn't they? They lost to the Golden Jets, and we're like, isn't that fair? We're the only ones that can be your friends, Kenny. And so they've gone away, and apparently we're not going to see them for a while. So they filed a couple of trademarks as well. So apparently that got people thinking, are they opening up their own wrestling school? What's going on there? But apparently that's not going to be the case. So
interesting. Have you seen even the Vlog's been taken over as being the Dark Order now?
So yeah, they've ended it basically. So there's going to be no more being the Elite. So the Vlog's gone, and they've said it's basically not coming back. So I don't know whether Dark Order is going to pick it up, just so there's something that to do. I just wonder though, are they just playing here, or has AEW really shit the bed? Because apparently none of the Elite are in power. It's all Elite wrestling. None of the Elite are in sort of positions of influence in the company now. Everyone seems to be falling out of favour with the place. I think it's only Kenny, maybe, who's still got a VP.
Oh, has he still got some?
I think he might do, but these guys certainly don't anymore.
Yeah, and neither Jericho.
Yeah, So
all the OGs who made this company what it is suddenly gone.
QT's gone now, which we'll come on to.
Yeah, we'll come on to that.
But yeah, so that's gone and stuff as well. But apparently, the belief is that they're just taking a hiatus. They will be back and they'll be forming kind of a new heel stable or something like that. But yeah, strange one.
I mean, this is the trouble when they try and storyline being away for a little bit, because, I mean, all due respect, like, is anyone really that like thingy to like, oh, you know, I'm gonna like miss them and I can't wait for them to come back, or
I mean,
I'll be shocked when they do return. Like, is that really gonna be a thing? Because AEW does this to me a lot, and this is not a criticism of them as talent, but like I feel like, is this like a big thing, and then like a month down the line they'll be back, and you go, well, that wasn't even that long a hiatus really for that to even be a thing.
The problem we've got though is that they've just been on several hiatuses because of the stuff with Punk and everything. Anyway, like I feel like they've hardly been around.
Yeah, you went for because of some real controversy, so maybe have some time. I feel that we don't see a lot of them these days. Yeah, like you say,
it makes you think, doesn't it? Like, are they going to WWE as well? It feels like there's going to be some sort of mass exodus. I think WWE.
Imagine they go to WWE and Punk's like, oh.
That'd be fucking brilliant, actually. But you never know. At the end of the day, they're just about. You can say what they want about AEW, but they have been a level of competition. The stock is certainly down now versus what it was, which is mad to think, considering how big of a success All In was.
I'm really struggling to read AEW because it's like it was a huge deal getting Adam Copeland, and that should be a huge deal, and that somehow has been massively overshadowed very quickly by Punk jumping ship.
Yeah,
and you go, well, like, I don't know what it is about the whole Adam Copeland thing, but you go, well, we should be having a kick-ass feud between him and Christian. I think it's happening pretty soon for the TBS title, is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they have scheduled.
TNT.
Yeah, that one.
Unless he's going to beat up Julia Hart, that one.
He might do,
but he's going around Concerto and everyone at the minute.
He's a fucking menace. Yeah,
he is.
But no, it's like I don't know, like I don't know where are they going to go with it. Like he's a massive draw, but it just doesn't feel like they're treating him like one. You know what I mean?
They've kind of done with Copeland what they did with Punk. They brought him in and beaten, straight away, put him in something with Darby, and then got him involved with Sting and Darby. It's like, that feels a little bit similar.
Like, to me, Cope should have been like going after MJF or being at that level, elevating MJF a bit. He's a fucking legend. I don't know. Like, I do really want to see the feud between him and Christian, but everything just feels to be not treated with the impact it should be. And I don't know if that's the way they're producing it or booking it or whatever. But
it feels like it's been treated like Impact.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something amiss lately, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there is, and I agree. I can't quite put my finger on it, but the books are going away, and we'll come on to QT Marshall in a bit. Like, there's not going to be many originals left soon. And
to be honest, like whoever the devil is, he's seeing off people. Like I kind of miss the Acclaimed, man.
Well, yeah, me too.
You need to stop like getting rid of people storyline wise, because we're running out of people, man.
Well, exactly. So yeah, we will see when Young Bucks rock up again.
Indeed. Speaking of people rocking up, Carl, Ronda Rousey, as people know, made a shock arrival at Ring of Honor, and this has led obviously to the question of like, well, what's going on here? Like, is she signing with AEW? This, that, and the next thing. And Dave Belter, who knows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, Dave knows.
He said basically this was her supporting a friend. There's no sort of long-term thing for her.
Usually people just come and watch them wrestle in the audience. You know what I mean?
How you support your friend. Like, is it really supporting your friend if you then take over?
Yeah. Can I just have the spotlights? Just supporting you. Hey, Ronda.
Yeah. But he's suggesting that there isn't any long-term plan for her to sign with AEW, that the intent wasn't to leave WWE to go to AEW. And, stranger things have happened. That typical Dave Meltzer approach of going, I'm not necessarily going to be wrong. Plans change, that kind of approach. Of but is certainly suggesting from the knowledge he has that she's not actually going to sign with AEW. This was kind of a one-off deal to support Marina
Shafir.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to say the first name wrong. So you go, okay, fair enough. And honestly, I think she should just keep doing what she's doing. Enjoy yourself on these sort of independent appearances. Like,
oh yeah, keep on trucking. Doing it for fun at the end of the day.
Exactly, and that's what it should be. Yeah. Really.
So I bet Tony's definitely there with a contract though. Like, please, anyone.
Yeah, he's following Mercedes Moné around as well, probably at this point.
Well, yeah, I think that'll be. And I don't want to count him out. He's got Ospreay. Ospreay's the best wrestler.
Ospreay's an absolute fucking legend.
So,
but Tony, I reckon, will do something reactive right now. I could see him signing someone like fucking Conor McGregor.
Tony Khan has a major announcement this Wednesday.
But reactive. I think I could see him like making some sort of deal to someone like Conor McGregor, who's a name, who's not in wrestling, but he's a famous name.
Yeah.
To try and get eyes back on AEW.
Yeah.
I could see him reacting in that way. Somewhere.
He's just done that with Flair, hasn't he? Like,
I mean, I don't understand that at all.
It looks cheap as well because now it's like woo energy everywhere, and it's just like.
Have you seen? It was like, yeah, it looks like Jimmy Savile. That. We really need to sort that logo out. You don't want that.
Not good. Not good at all. But yeah, interesting times I think for AEW and be telling I think what they do.
That's hard times.
Hard times, Daddy. Speaking of hard times, so yeah, we've alluded to it a couple of times now. QT Marshall has announced that he is resigning from AEW. He said that it's a very different company now to what it was when he joined at the very beginning.
All your mates are gone, dickhead.
No shit. And he says that they're going in different directions, I think. So QT had like a bit of a. Apparently, he was involved in everything. So he was doing like the show formats and everything, and was planning like that level of thing for a while. I believe it kind of went a bit sour when they stopped doing the QTV stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, right, but if it's not getting over, people aren't liking it, then Tony's within his right to go, well, I don't want to put this anymore. So it kind of sounds like QT's gone, well, you don't want to use me as a wrestler. I still want to wrestle. I still want to be involved. So I'm going to leave and go and try and do that elsewhere. I think.
Where's he going to go, though?
Where we get? Well, he's just been the AAA champ for a bit. So maybe he goes to Impact. Maybe he goes to Ring of Honor. Imagine that. I'm leaving AEW. I'm just going to go on to Ring of Honor. Like
that would be funny.
It's all like, But no, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting time because it's not the first time people have said it's a very different company now.
Yeah. Thing is, I think the issue is that there's tons of talent there. The issue is definitely the booking and production side right now.
Yeah.
If we're honest.
Yeah.
And that, I hate to say it, that might be the fact that Tony's a bit too close to it and he kind of doesn't really know how to book it.
No.
To be honest. And that's no disrespect to him. I think Triple H can be a bit too close to the product at times as well. I've said that before, that everyone credits him for doing the same thing that Tony's doing. Really. He's like, oh, it's amazing under Triple H. It's like, he's just brought names in. That's exactly what you criticise AEW for.
Yeah.
So I think they can be as bad as each other at times. But Triple H has got a massive team around him.
Yeah.
So overall it works out.
Tony's Tony has not really got that, has he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got his notepad and the fact he doesn't sleep.
Have you heard even Mega's taking a step away from AEW?
Do you know what? I hope that, I don't know how to phrase this, but maybe it's a good thing. I think the fans have been a bunch of cunts.
Oh, without a doubt.
Do you know what I mean? And she didn't deserve anything.
She did not.
Based on rumours and hearsay and Jim Cornette being a fucking bad bellend. Like
it's just a shame because she
loads of shit.
Like, let's not to make it about this, but like because basically she's a woman in that position, you get that kind of accusation. Yeah. Where if she'd have been a bloke and she was Tony's right hand man, you probably wouldn't have had that sort of accent. She wouldn't have felt the need to sort of step away. So to me, that shit's just stupid. She's his right hand woman. She's good at her job, and now it's like it soured a bit because of all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, slow shit. When you have to have Christopher Daniels coming out on Twitter being like defending it, stuff like that. It's like it's really gone too far. Wrestling fans can be fucking awful people.
Yeah. And we're only seeing what's out there. We're only seeing like the likes of Daniels and that coming out and saying stuff where you can see various comments. Certainly comments we've seen on our videos. And I can only imagine the type of stuff she gets DM'd and shit like that because people are just fucking horrible at times.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
But I think even things like that's going to have an effect, isn't it? Because I imagine she's still working for the Jags and she's still working for Tony. But to have to take a step away from that arm, it's not going to be great, is it? So.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with AEW at the minute. I really, really, really want to see them do well. Really, really well.
We've always said competition is the best thing. We want to see every company do well.
Yeah.
And that's not just one of them fucking stupid sentiments. We do.
No.
We've never been tribalists about it.
Yeah. And it's hard as well. Like what we were saying before, I can't put my finger on it because you say, oh, there's the writing and stuff, but it's like they are doing something with this devil storyline and they do have something going on with Adam Copeland and Christian. So there is undercurrents of things going on. But for me, it's just never felt quite the same as early AEW where it was just, there was a bit of magic about it.
Exactly.
And now the problem is with it, and I'm the worst for this because I kind of don't care about the matches that much. What AEW does is puts on fantastic matches. And that's cool. I want matches to mean things.
I think a prime example of that, Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
We both agree. He's looking fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having some great matches. What he needs now is a really good story and a really good push to the main event scene.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're getting right now.
No. I think the only way to get him there is if he wins his Continental Classic. And it's like, well, that's, a tournament's one way to do it. But
that's
wouldn't it be nice if there was some character development and growth?
Exactly. And instead it's like, I'm going to drink each other's blood. And you're like, okay, that's not a thing.
People say what you want about Vince Russo. And I'm not saying it. I know he's been terrible stuff as well. I say this all the time. Back in the Attitude Era, everyone had a fucking story. Everyone had something to do. There was a purpose why they did it.
Vince gets probably a lot more flack than he should because people look at it through a lens of now and go, how ridiculous was that? It's like, in context to what we were getting in that era anyway.
Yeah.
Was it that ridiculous?
Well, exactly.
You can look at it now and go, everything on a pole was ridiculous. Yeah. But like,
the thing is to remember as well that in the late 90s, it was trash TV. It was Jerry Springer. It was all that kind of stuff.
And you've got to remember, WWE, like, have a look up the last time they did a fucking shark cage match, because I reckon that was probably around 2016, right? So let's not act like stupid shit didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like booking.
Don't forget the fucking zombies.
The fucking zombies. That was actually that was 2020, sure.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, so it's not like you can't, like, we're gonna look back at things from this era and go, that was ridiculous. But like, I think because people are doing that now with Vince, it's like they look at Vince Russo and go, yeah, he didn't know what he was doing. It's like, he clearly fucking did. He had some success.
And like, there was a lot of angles that were stupid in WCW, and that he was at fault for a lot of that, which is fair. But I do think there's a place today for writers to focus on certain characters across the show and give them storylines, but
I agree.
Interesting things, not just like, oh, so and so really wants the belt. Oh, and I mean, there needs to be more.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Orange Cassidy just keeps on winning. That's a weird storyline. So.
Fucking hell, it is.
So, Carl.
Needs a drink of the old Dr. Pepper.
Here's a hell of a storyline we've got going on right here. So, Vince McMahon is being sued by, I assume, former shareholders. I don't quite know how these merger things work. Are they current shareholders? Why would you sue if you are? I don't quite know how.
I think they are current based on the story.
Okay, fair enough. So, basically, Vince McMahon's being sued. And he's being sued because, essentially, the suggestion is that he undersold WWE, to put it briefly. There's a lot to it, and it's probably worth reading the articles a bit more thoroughly. But in brief, what the suggestion is that Ari Emanuel had a good relationship with the McMahons, and they basically, pushed the deal through. And they can't name the companies in the lawsuit, but other companies were putting in offers of around $100 a share. And those offers obviously would have been higher than it actually sold to TKO for under the merger. But there was no sort of negotiation or counter offer with these other companies. And it just seemed like Vince was sort of rushing the deal through with TKO, not really that much interested in what was best for the shareholders. He was interested in lining his own pockets and setting himself up where he is now.
Yeah.
All of that isn't me speculating. That's exactly what they're trying to sue him for.
Yeah.
But not only are they suing Vince, apparently Nick Khan is being named as one of the people. Triple H is also being named along with two other chair people. So it seems like potentially a fairly heavy lawsuit here. Now, I don't really think that puts the company in jeopardy, like, properly. Like, obviously this is like, we may get some compensation for that issue, but I don't think it's actually going to affect the TKO situation at all.
I can't imagine.
But it's an interesting one when you look and go, he changed the landscape of what could have been. Like, no one knows what the big companies were, but when you consider at one point there was talks of like Disney and that being interested, you go, like, it would be such a Vince McMahon thing, wouldn't it, to like fucking lowball offer it to Ari rather than selling it to Disney.
Yeah.
Like, that feels like something he would have fucking done.
To be fair, yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's obviously much more difficult when you've got all shareholders and stuff, but Vince has put his own interest first, hasn't he? He's wanted to maintain a level of, representation on the board and like creative advisory position and stuff like that, which he just wouldn't have got, I think, elsewhere. But the fact that he's close with Ari and that, he's probably been able to say, this is what I want. I'll sell it to you for this much. You can benefit from the brand, and I can still get what I want.
Yeah.
And they've done a gentleman's agreement, and it's made its way through. So,
well, apparently the reality is, if they'd have been involved or aware enough of what Vince was doing, they could have either removed as chairman and been involved, or someone else been involved in the deals. But that obviously weren't the case. So it sounds like someone's going to get a payday.
Yeah, definitely.
God, I wish I was a former shareholder.
But it's funny though, isn't it? Because it's ironic with Punk saying to MJF, "Oh, you think the grass is greener over there?" And then Punk goes there. But people think, "Oh, well," the shareholders think, "Well, we could have gotten more money." But if they would have sold to someone like Disney, it's not to say Disney wouldn't have just gone, "Ah, do you know what? I'm done." After a while, and it's like, well, actually, then you've got no fucking money, have you?
Yeah, so we'll keep your library.
The fact he sold it to someone who's already got UFC and a global,
but this is unfortunately the interesting thing now, isn't it? You go, well, this has probably been the best thing for WWE to remain its own entity.
Yeah.
But you'd never know truly what would have happened otherwise. So it's all speculative. So they'll always go, no, we would have done better. And you go, well, you'd never actually know that now.
Yeah.
Maybe initially, yeah, like you say, the value would have been higher. But long term, would it have been the best thing for WWE? Maybe not. Probably not, to be honest. I think you mentioned when we were first talking about all the different companies that could be interested, I think you mentioned someone like Disney probably wouldn't treat it as it should be because they don't understand wrestling as a product.
No, exactly. Which I think it was probably the best thing for the company to go down something like a UFC route because they're used to putting on live events. They're used to it's managing that kind of thing.
Those two companies merging makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think so. But interesting to see how this one plays out. Yeah, what do you think of CM Punk's return? What do you think of all the other stuff we spoke about? QT Marshall leaving, Young Bucks on hiatus, the future of AEW. Lots going on right now.
MJF's hip. Don't forget his hip.
Yeah, MJF is hip.
Yes, he is indeed.
But yeah, let us know what you think about all the news. Do the usual comment, subscribe, download the
Call
stuff.
us whites,
Yeah, the usual stuff. Leave us terrible comments. We could. And we'll catch you on the next one.